Ladies and gentlemen of the crypto space, it is Friday, 11:30, October 16th, over halfway through the month. Exciting times, crazy times. Are we even processing what's really going on? I myself don't really understand the entirety of it. Well, frankly, I don't think one person understands the complexities. There's political complexities, financial, economic complexities, complexities in the equities markets, complexities in the crypto market. All I know is my focus, and my focus is identifying the path, finding the path that actually works to navigate this ridiculous system that these people before me have created, the politicians that they crafted, and companies, the jobs that they offer. The companies offer a little slice of the pie. We do work for them. They're making much more money from our work than we make that they give us. At least that's the whole point. That's what a company is. Anyway, that was that was an opening that was neither here nor there. The whole point of today's show is Uniswap v Curve duopoly considerations, and that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the financial markets, the money markets that are being created in the crypto space, because this is some hot shit. Today's episode is sponsored by Change Angel, a non-custodial swap exchange. Assets in, assets out. Stop depositing on exchanges. Centralized exchanges are silly. You guys know how I talk about the blocknet? You guys know how I talk about DeFi? Use that Change Angel. It's the way to do things, boys and girls. Let's pop it over to the main screen. All right. So there was one thing that was really cool this morning. Who? Who? No. Do I still have it? Damn it. Oh, please. Where's? Oh, of course I lost the tweet that I was thinking about. Oh, that's unfortunate. I mentioned to someone on Twitter that I was going to literally talk about something, and that's all I really remember at this point. I don't remember specifically what it was. Um, Darn, it completely slips my mind. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Literally said I was going to mention it today on the chat. Anyway, who's in the stream? We got Michael. Always a pleasure. Let's see what we could do to answer folks' questions. If there's anything on anyone's mind, bring it up. We're going to talk about it. So Uniswap is clearly where darn it. Here's my tab. All right, so Uniswap and Curve are in a duopoly. They're clearly the trend setters. And I want to start with a little bit of data that are going to highlight what I see. So monthly is really what's pertinent. We're about halfway through October, and clearly in September we had a ridiculous month for DeFi, and Uniswap's volumes were through the roof, fueled by governance assets and pickle finance and seal finance. And if people don't know what I'm talking about, we're talking about stuff like this. Now, these are literally like hybrids and piecemeal smart contract platforms, because you can literally copy the smart contracts from other platforms. You copy it, you do a couple of modifications here, but then again, people are, this is a non-trivial implementation. Someone had to come up with the user interface. And most of it is just minor modifications based on previous implementations. There's a great deal of similarity that you'll find between all of these, and pretty much they're forks. Maybe there's some monetary policy tweaks, maybe monetary policy hybrids, so to speak. But this is what is entirely fueling the Uniswap volume. So clearly, a Curve is second, and it's been second since June, July, August. And in October, 0x is actually increasing in volume. But watch what happens when you hide Uniswap. Check this out. Look how Curve compares to the other AMMs. So what's pertinent, we'll see what happens for the rest of August. It's quite interesting what we're seeing here with regard to 0x. But what's notable is that there is no competition between 0x and Curve. It's a completely different market. It's completely different market. Say it with me, boys and girls, they're not even remotely related. Curve is basically the Forex of the crypto space, dealing with stable coins and coins with equal value. 0x is basically the same thing, generally speaking, as the other AMMs, where you have assets of variable price. Clearly, there's significant nuances in their implementation, as and compared to Balancer with multi-assets, and then it's proportional, and who else? Kyber, no doubt, and, uh, and Uniswap, and obviously. So let's put Uniswap back on the board. So the volume there is obvious. It's huge, and this is completely fueled by basically the DeFi tokens that create basic value out of thin air. Um, I don't know how long this is going to last. I think it's diminishing over time. Clearly, last month was an aberration. I don't think this is a sustainable volume in the short term, but this is a good foreshadow of the things to come, and that's really the point of the stream today. What is a foreshadow, and what is to come? And we want to understand what happened over the last 2, 3 months, and really set ourselves up in a good position for the next couple of months and the next couple of years to get ahead of the market. Nathan's in the house. Is there a major factor for curve returns? Yes, that is a massive factor, dilution. So I don't really care about curve. Curve doesn't mean anything to me. CRV is irrelevant. Curve is a vehicle to acquire VE Curve holdings. So as the price of Curve goes down, that's actually benefiting. It lets you own a larger portion of VE Curve proportionally. So as the price of Curve goes down, you actually have more of a potential to own a greater share of the platform's transaction fees. So the cheaper, so there's a greater opportunity. As the price of Curve goes down, there's a greater opportunity to own one counts, which is not Curve. I don't, I'm not in this at all for the speculation on the Curve price, albeit I think we're inevitable to see not only a bottom but substantial appreciation of Curve, because Curve is inherently, obviously, related to um, the success and volume of the platform, as you need to have Curve in order to acquire a VE Curve position. So let's say, so this is why we go back to this chart. This is why we go back to this. So this is a foreshadow. And that's what, look, we were literally only 4 months into anything. And before August, there was basically nothing. But okay, fine. Before July, there was basically nothing. This is basically zero. This all started this year. This is all brand new tech. So what happens in 2, 3, 4 years from now? And you're locking your curve for 4 years? Do you have any idea what the world is going to be like in 4 years? So there's the speculation that I really love about 4 years out from this. This was explosive. Do you think this genie's going back in the bottle? Do you have any idea the gut instinct of the volume that Curve could potentially handle in the coming years? Do you think it's going to be less? Or do you think it could be orders of magnitude higher? When there's L2 solutions on Ethereum and Polkadot substrate blockchains are running rampant in 2, 3 years, and Cosmos hubs are deeply integrated into Chinese culture and society, encouraged at the national level by the BSN. 3 years from now, oh my God! So that's what I want to own, and that's what the fight is going to be for. VECRV. That's what it's going to be over. And whoever owns a proportional share of a platform that's potentially doing $100 billion a day. Come on, this thing just came out and it did $150 million in volume yesterday. And this thing is racking. I haven't seen this less than 60 million. I think maybe 55 million if I stretch it over the last couple of weeks. Those are incredible numbers. A year ago, nobody would have ever imagined we'd see these kinds of numbers, and that's the truth. This is completely unexpected. Nobody last year would have ever imagined we'd see daily volumes like this on a smart contract AMM driven DEX. So can you imagine what we're going to see in 3, 4 years' time? Wow. Wow. Tantalizing. Igor says, any threats from Curve from regulatory perspective? No, because these are smart contracts. The people can be gone after, individuals, companies. So depending on like Uniswap, they've spent a lot of time getting even the website into IPFS. So even the website is decentralized in its hosting implementation. So that is what's pertinent that they head down that road. They get a domain up on IPFS, unstoppable domains, and stuff like that, such that nothing can interfere with the platform, its functionality, and its growth. I mean, literally, Uniswap V1 is still in operation. How about them apples? You could still provide liquidity on Uniswap V1. Michael says, great info. Too bad more people can't watch this right now. Well, anyone in the world can watch it. I mean, this is just YouTube, boys and girls. It's people's choice. I wish more people watched it. I'd love, it's not even that I would love more people just to watch me. I would love more people to ask questions because the only way I could grow as a person is to get asked questions that give me new thoughts and new ideas, and that in turn lets me help people. And that's what's so enjoyable about our talks that we do on a daily basis. So this wonderful foreshadow that we're seeing, I can't tell people, and I don't want to tell people to do things that this is a great investment. It's for people to really realize this on their own. I've posted many times on Twitter about Curve, and they're telling, oh, you're a sucker. Curve is only going to go down in value. People have to realize that who really cares about Curve and who cares about today? Who's in? If anyone is investing or taking, I don't like the word investing. I don't because that implies a purchase. I'm purchasing something. If I'm taking value and transferring it into gold or transferring it into Bitcoin or transferring it into an asset, the last thing I'm interested in is its price today. I don't give a shit about its price today. I care about its price a year from now, 2, 3, 4 years from now. That's what I care about. And that's the narrative that I like to spend, the story that I like to tell about these assets and how they're being interwoven into countless parts of our status quo and how they're on the verge of really disrupting legacy financial systems. And I really, that people criticize the REN project because the REN team has control over the smart contracts as well as providing security for the current implementation of the network. It's not a decentralized implementation. Now, the holy grail of crypto is a decentralized implementation where the community and the participants in the community have voting rights to drive the changes in the platform, and no one person can make decisions for the platform. But look, if you go over to traditional financial markets, the hot thing nowadays is not really even IPOs. It's called SPACs, special purpose acquisition vehicles, which are basically a dirty way of a company going public, not the traditional IPO route. And there's a board, there's a CEO, and there's people that are making decisions. That's called centralization. So I don't understand why centralization is so dirty in the crypto space as compared to the traditional corporate and company space. Now I know it's the case that the whole point of crypto is to not be centralized and to be decentralized. But for the love of God, stop being so critical of projects that could potentially have a meaningful impact on 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 the world. I mean, this is a heck of a technological offering. The growth of this platform and the functionality of this platform goes way beyond merely the securing of Bitcoin private keys and cryptocurrency private keys. We're talking about decentralized file storage, pretty much. Um, and that is a profound concept that, was it SIA and Skynet? SIA. I mean, this is something they've been working on for years, and they really did a big pivot. SIA coin. Wow, what a pivot built with SIA. These boys of SIA's been around. It's an original UTXO asset. It's not a it's not an ERC20. Fascinating. Um, Point being, it's not today. I'm not interested in today. We are so early. You're damn right. So David says, where and how do we convert curve to VE curve? So you go to curve, you go to the Dow, and you go to the locker. And this is where you mint curve into VE curve. And bear in mind, you get to choose between 1 year and 4 years. You get substantially less VE curve if you lock for 1 year. You get point. If you lock 4 curve, you will get 1 VE curve for a year. If you lock 4 curve and you lock for 4 years, you will get 4 VE curve. So you get 4 times as much VE curve if you lock for 4 years. And guys, if you need, if this is money that you need, it doesn't go in here. Money that you need goes to pay debt, it goes to pay bills, goes to pay a credit card bill. It doesn't go in the crypto space, and frankly, it goes in Bitcoin if you need it before it goes into a platform like this. You are betting, and I have bet here, that in 4 years' time, this platform will be doing $1 billion plus a day. And I am in a race to own as much VE curve as I possibly can. So do not convert curve, do not get into curve, do not buy curve to convert it to VE curve if it's going to be a one-time thing. That's because it's going to be diluted continuously. There is CRV emissions, and CRV will be constantly converted into VECRV, and this number will be constantly going down. The only way to secure a position for a portion of this platform's trading fees is to constantly be buying curve. And that's just the reality. So how am I prepared to do that? I'm prepared to do that by by taking a risk. I took a risk in the past, and I am entitled to an additional 12,997 curve that will be given to me over the course of the next year. And I also receive curve by my liquidity position, which is a little, it's not, that's a non-trivial amount of liquidity. That's giving me 14.64% as of today. It's probably going to get diluted over the course of the next year. So I'll probably, let's say 10%, 8%. So I'll get another couple of $1,000 worth of curve over the next year. And then obviously I have a VE curve position, which entitles me to a portion of the platform's $861,000 in trading fees that will be distributed to VE Curve holders. So since we're so early and speculative, all this gets recycled into VE Curve. And that's the whole point. I want to carve out and attempt to minimize dilution as much as possible, so I have a hopefully relatively meaningful position or VE Curve holding. I get a portion of the daily trading fees. Oh, that's what that tweet was that I remembered earlier. So the tweet that someone mentioned was we might not get emissions in Curve. We might get emissions in liquidity pool tokens, which is really cool. Or frankly, I would rather emissions directly in VECRV. Huh. Huh. So automatically take. Well, then again, so that's the problem. So if this is dollars, well, it's not really. Maybe it's a stable coin. I don't know how they're uh, accounting for this, what asset they're using to account for this value. But whatever it is, if we are given VECRV, we don't have a taxable event. We are given VECRV. No, I guess that VECRV has a relative value. It's complicated, but here's the problem. If we are given CRV and then we sell it for VECRV, well, that's definitely a taxable event, and it's not a gift. If we are, so this is all this taxable event bullshit, and it's absolutely really annoying. And don't get me started on taxes and the way this government operates. Absolutely ridiculous. We had a nice couple of government tweets this morning about what's pretty much inevitable with the financial system. But man, that topic drives me nuts. Um, all right. If anyone has any comments or questions, hit me. I can only talk about Curve and and Uniswap so much. But look, RSV has shown very little volume. I don't know what the heck HUSD is, but I'm surprised and disappointed. I think RSV is really cool. It's one heck of a stable coin, and I'd love to see. You know what it is because uh, there's no boost applied to the RSV pool, and that will start to generate liquidity. That'll increase the price of RSV because people need to buy RSV in order to contribute it to the pool to get a portion of the curve emissions. So that'll be nice. That's actually a good bet. So if you go over to the Dow, let's see if we could find the RSV poll. I'm pretty sure it should be passing at this point. 100%, 100%. Almost everything is passing. I don't know which one it is. Three of them don't have quorum. This doesn't have quorum. Add gauge. So let's see. Is this RSV? Here you go. Look. Here it is. This is the RSV add a gauge. 22% quorum. It has 100% approval. I voted. No, that's not me. Look at these people that have so this is what you're up against with regard to VE curve. There's some people that hold a huge amount. I mean, this has got to be like a platform owner with 1,334,000 VECRV. Absolutely incredible numbers. I mean, I'm down here. At the time of this poll, I had about 12,000 and change. I mean, look at these people. 99,000, 73. These people throwing around money left and right. 24,000, 597,000. Absolutely incredible. So that's what you're up against. I mean, literally, the most important thing is I don't. This is big risk in placing value in Curve and VECRV because you're up against this and you're going to get diluted because these boys are getting some serious emissions and they're going to be recycling those emissions to carve out more ownership of the VE Curve proportionality. So guys, don't. This is risk off mode. I don't know what's going on entirely with the financial system, but we sure as hell talk about it a fair amount. So I wouldn't place a bet. My recommendation is to not take risk and don't place a bet unless it's literally just gambling money. Um, you want to be as protective as possible just in case there's systemic instability, and that's really Bitcoin. So Bitcoin already has baked in the potential for asymmetric returns. So why you don't have to go into Curve to make an exorbitant amount of money. If you're able to accumulate a half a Bitcoin or a Bitcoin and Bitcoin goes to $1 million, that's a big win, guys. Come on. Come on. So stop taking risks. Yeah, and realize that it's a big, bold, incredible thing that you've even chosen to take a position in Bitcoin. I have so many people in my family that I talk to crypto about all the time, and almost nobody owns it at all. Disturbing, yet reality. I was also asking this, but didn't well understand. If I don't provide liquidity to Curve, just locking CRV, is this less rational than also providing liquidity? So this is kind of what I was hinting at, Igor. So if you provide, if you lock your CRV for VECRV, you're going to be entitled to emissions. Profits from the pool, the pool's trading fees, which, as you can see, Curve currently owes VECRV holders $861,000. So those emissions, you could roll them into your VECRV and increase your VECRV, but the point is, other people are going to be increasing their VECRV aggressively because they're going to want to own a portion of the trading fees of the platform, especially the future trading fees of the platform. And what else do we know? We know that there's new CRV emitted into circulating supply on a daily basis, which means unless a person is constantly buying and accumulating and growing their VECRV, it's going to be diluted over time. So if you buy $100, $1,000 worth of VECRV, in a year's time, it's going to be worth much less. It's going to be diluted. Now, bear in mind, there is a lot of speculation, and not everything is known. So you're buying VECRV, you're buying CRV at what, 50 cents? It's been destroyed. So what happens if the platform's doing $1 billion a day in 2 years? Do you think, and the crypto space is valued at $5 trillion, $10 trillion. Do you think Curve having a market cap of 10 billion? Here, check this out. So if the crypto space goes 10x and it goes through the roof in two to 4 years, so you lock in your CRV for VECRV for a period of 4 years. But imagine in 4 years' time, the crypto space. So the fully diluted is 1.5 billion. So and then you go over here. Check this out. So we're talking about the future. This is how you get a sense for how to make decisions for the future. So let's say Bitcoin's measured at $2 trillion or $4 trillion, and the whole market cap's at $6 trillion. You telling me this can't have a fully diluted value of 6 billion, of 10 billion? Come on, for a platform that's doing a billion, two, three, four, $5 billion a day in transactions. Yeah, and there you go. There's your three, four, $5. Max supply is 3.3 billion. $2, $3. So $3 in a couple of years when the max supply is reached, $3 will be about a $10 billion market cap. But then in a couple of years' time, uh, if Bitcoin's market cap is if the look at these market caps. Let's sort by market cap. So 10 billion is there's four assets with 10 billion. So what happens in 4 years when there's 40 assets and 50 assets that have over $10 billion valuation? Right now there's 25 assets with over $1 billion market cap. In 4 years, I bet you there's going to be 100 assets with $1 billion market cap and 50 assets with a $10 billion market cap. And now you're talking about in 4 years at $3, this would have a $10 billion market cap. So you tell it, so here you go. In 4 years, if this has a $3 market cap and 50 assets have a $10 billion market cap, Curve is literally just in the top 50 assets. So that's how you think about the future. There's your speculative bet. But you're really, which means so if you're buying let's say you buy 1,000 CRV now, your dilution of the CRV is going to be pretty much through the roof, but you bought 1,000 CRV and it could be worth $3 in a couple years, so you can make a couple 100% on your curve. So it's very complicated considerations and very speculative. So man, I'm reminding everyone, got to remind everyone, just minimize the crap out of your risk. You work too hard to waste money, and Bitcoin has immense asymmetrical risk as it is. Bottom line. Anyway, if you don't update a Trezor for 10 years, do you think it will update properly? I don't know about 10 years. I don't know about 10 years, Mach Mach. We're talking about 10 years' time will be, um, who knows what the advents will be in the quantum computing tech. So you want to, I don't know about 10 years. You don't throw a Trezor into the back of your closet for 10 years. You got to keep an eye on some things, technologically speaking. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some innovations in the next 10 years. So keep an eye on things. Are you providing any REN liquidity on Curve? I played with it and wasted some gas attempting it. REN liquidity? Well, you're talking about the REN BTC. So REN, yes, I provide REN liquidity. I provide what is that? 50 chip, $50,000 as REN liquidity. So there's risk. I got risk all over the place. So I am able to sleep at night with that risk. I don't know how comfortable my wife is with me taking that risk, but that is what I've taken. And because of that risk, I am compensated with a daily emission of, where is it? This is probably about 100 curve from there. Get 100 curve from there, and I go over to vesting, and I probably get another 100 curve from here on a 24-hour basis. Maybe about 200 curve a day is my emission. Now, I have no interest in selling curve because I give a shit about my 4-year speculation. I don't care about selling it for $100, albeit $100 a day is pretty cool. But what happens if curve is $3 in 3 years? Then the 200 curve I get a day can be worth Can you imagine? In 3 years, I was getting $600 worth of Curve emissions per day. So this is stuff I want to accumulate. Man, listen, I just got into the Gods Unchained. That's 2 minutes left, and I'm going to end the stream. So all this crypto stuff reminds me a lot of collectible cards and good old Magic the Gathering. All I know is in 4 years' time, I want to own a shitload of Ren. I want to own a Dark Node. I want to own Curve. I want to own a portion of the platform. I want to own these things because, man, these are very much pieces of a future financial system, future of money markets. So these are the things I'm so excited to accumulate. You can only imagine, like, if I was my age right now and it was like mid 90s, late 90s, and like Magic just came out with like Unlimited and Revised and Fourth Edition and Antiquities and all those original incredible sets. Obviously, Beta and Alpha being the originals, but those were really cool, and that's kind of what like Gods Unchained is with these NFTs. And there's so much rampant opportunity and rampant speculation that we could do about the potential price appreciation of so many awesome assets. I find myself reminded of like collectible card games when looking at all these crypto projects and the potential of them. The potential of them to appreciate immensely over time. And not 20 years, not 10 years' time, like things operated in the past. Potentially only a couple years out, because these crypto projects are tightly coupled to the financial system, which is crazy. So we're on the imminent threshold of potentially asymmetric price appreciation, especially Bitcoin. Don't take the risk. Heavily skew your portfolio towards safe, risk minimized assets, which is Bitcoin. You need cash to pay your bills. If you have debts, gotta take care of your debts, man. Debts are just ridiculous. And you can't neglect gold and silver, gold miners, silver miners, and streamers, and some equities. So whatever you do, don't go all in. Don't spread too thin. And don't go all in doesn't just mean crypto. You can't just own crypto. You have to know about the other types of investments as well. If we have a massive systemic craziness, maybe gold is the thing that outperforms the most. So this is why it's imperative to be diversified. Think about portfolio balance and minimize the crap out of your risk. I'm not going to say it again. Nathan, yeah, static supply. It's not as well. It is. There is a max supply. I believe you're referring to Curve. Richard, always a pleasure. Happy to answer any questions next time. If you have anything on your mind, bring anything up. It's always the best time of my day, 12:03 p.m. on a Friday. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Smack those thumbs up buttons. Tell everyone to subscribe, and I'm going to catch you for another awesome episode on Monday. Y'all have a wonderful, safe, risk minimized weekend. Peace.